It got viewed 400,000 times.
None of us knew what is bobsled when we talked to the agent.
It took me more than 5 months to get this podcast started, and you guys did 5 months. You became Olympic athletes.
The sled is broken, no money, no this, the flight is canceled. Someone died on our
The
flight.
nickname for the team is Shul Runnings, but you don't go to Shul. You're Druze.
When Israelis see this team, they should realize that this is a team of 6 guys who put in every single drop of sweat of the last number of months.
Just a bunch of individuals. Let's try to understand how to be a team.
Ciao e benvenuti. Welcome to a record-breaking episode of Being Jewish with Jonah Platt. That's right. Today, I'm about to shatter the record for most guests on a Jewish podcast at one time. At least my show. I have not verified any others. Today, I welcome a former sprinter, pole vaulter, shot putter, rugby player, CrossFit athlete, and skeleton racer. Sounds crazy, no? But what's crazier is that this motley crew of the Mosaic persuasion decided to ditch all those individual sports and jump together into an aerodynamic banana shooting down a life-size Hot Wheels track, hoping the guy steering with his feet doesn't kill everybody. But what's even crazier than devoting your life to a luge for people who want company on their near-death experience is bootstrapping an Olympic program from scratch during a generational war in a country more likely to stuff a bobsled with falafel and hummus than know how to ride one. They are inspiring Jews and sports fans all over the world with their grit, determination, belief, and downright chutzpah, paving the way for future generations of Israeli athletes to one day carry the torch. Hopefully, literally. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Live from Cortina, it's Israeli Bobsled time. Please welcome your 2026 Olympic Bobsled Team, Edelman, Menashem Chen, Fawarsy, Ower Katz, Uri Zisman, and Itamar Shprinz. Gentlemen, thank you for taking time out of your busy training schedule to sit down with me tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
So, how's Cortina treating you guys? What's the vibe? How's it feel being in the Olympic Village?
It's feel awesome. The vibe is amazing. I feel that everyone is loving us. We're favorite of the crowds. Yeah.
Ah, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. So this episode, it won't air until after the Olympics end. Yesterday, you guys wrapped up the 2-man bobsled events, and now you're prepping for your main event, the 4-man bobsled, which is just a few days away. AJ, you're the team captain. You're the pilot. Menachem, you're the brakeman. Menachem, you're officially an Olympic athlete now. You have run an Olympic race. You've run a couple heats. What's the feeling?
It's not different from any other track competition that I did or any other race. Like it's feel like normal as usual, but you got the feeling that everyone wants you for success. Like you're not running only for yourself. You're running for your country. You're running for the people that support you. You're running to the people that you love. And you don't do it only for yourself. This is the main difference, except that it's just doing your job as any other day.
Amazing. AJ, what did it feel like putting on that blue and white uniform and that fire and ice helmet with the Jewish star on it for the first time this week?
I mean, every single time you put it on, it's quite the awesome responsibility. One of the things that we learn as athletes who are high profile or high performing athletes is that all of the work before a race is done before the race. During the race, it's a combination of pressure management and essentially focus, just execution. For me, it was my final 2-man race. There was some sense of mixed emotions, but ultimately we looked forward to the main event, the premier event. We knew that we're carrying a huge responsibility on our back. We all spoke about it during the team meeting. We know what this means for the country. We know what it means for the future of Israeli sport. We also know that at the end of the day, our names are not on those uniforms. The flags are on the uniform. So when anyone sees us in the future, they don't know who we are, but they know Israel is there.
So you guys came dead last in every heat in the 2-man, but you're still on top of the world. It's clearly, not what you're there to. It's not the be-all, end-all for your experience. How are you feeling just about the result? And what was the experience of just getting onto the track and getting in competition mode?
I think the achievement for us is just being here. Like it's a miracle by itself. We are here in the Olympic Games. Like this team, all of us, we are so new to the sport. We are a team for like 5 months. Like all the other teams, like the minimum they're doing like 4 years together, like Olympic cycle, or a team that is only 5 months like running together. It's a miracle by itself to get to the highest peak, the highest performance in our sport, because it's a privilege to be there.
It took me more than 5 months to get this podcast started, and you guys did 5 months. You became Olympic athletes. That's pretty amazing.
There is no such thing as a universality quota in our sport. In the Olympics, sometimes there's something called universality, which is the principle of greater inclusion of countries, even if those countries fall below an Olympic standard. You come to think of like Eric the Eel, who barely made it across the swimming pool of the Sydney Games, those sorts of things. In our sport, because of the unique danger of the sport, because it kills people, there is no such thing as a universality quota in the sport. To become a new Olympic nation, it hasn't been done in about 30 years in our sport without getting the Olympic bid itself. So China was the most recent new 4-man team, but they got the Beijing bid. Israel is the first new 4-man Olympic nation since, I believe, 1988. It is an immense credit to the team that comes to work together to put together a new track. So when people do say you finished last, to achieve an Olympic standard in bobsled certifies you at a certain level of absolute excellence of the sport itself, outside of the individual results of the games, which very often is predicated on your experience at the track itself. So there's rules of the sport mandate 40 to 50 training runs for teams to be given before the Olympic Games. Those took place in October, November. We couldn't afford to do those training runs. And then before the Olympics themselves as well, you're mandated 2 days of training on the ice. It's in the rule book for fairness and safety. Home track advantage is huge in the sport of bobsled. And the amazing thing about the team is that when you walk down the track, you see 10 German sports scientists, physios. They pull in everyone in the village to go videotape that track, put it together, and feed the information to the athletes. Every team here has a full cadre of people. There is no coach with us. Itamar is actually an athlete. We just filled out the roster of athlete accreditations, and so he's here as a coach. But every single person on the team took a part of the track. They went down the track and worked as one to put it together. It's such a hard thing to do, to put together a new bobsled track. And the team did that as the least experienced team on the track in these games and still remains competitive. It's quite the amazing accomplishment. And it's all credit to the fact that the boys stepped the hell up. It was really amazing. So when you say finished dead last, yeah, we finished dead last, but we were Olympic qualification worthy. And we put in an amazing fight for being on the track for only 3 days when everyone was on the track from 14 to 20.
What is the difference between a good bobsled team and an elite bobsled team in terms of on-track performance? And how do you guys get yourselves from Olympic qualifying level of good to medaling level of excellence?
The first and most important factor is the push. So the team working together. And I'm going to speak specifically to 4-man at the moment, because 4-man is not only our specialty, but it's the hardest discipline in bobsled. So everyone has to work together as one to hit the sled at the same time to provide an impulse, because if someone gets it early, the sled will start going away and people trip over themselves. They're going to have to load into the sled at the same exact time and sit down together. Otherwise, someone won't have room to sit. And you'll see what happened to the American team in St. Moritz, and it was all over social media. People literally fell over the wall. They didn't get into the sled. It happens constantly that they're starting this mishaps. It's a very, very problematic part of the sport. And every single tenth of a second of deficit of the push is worth 3/10 on the drive. So that brings us to the second component, the drive. It's where I come in. It's a mixture of not just my drive, but also the aerodynamics of the team. The team, it does sit in the back and put their head between their legs and pray, but they have to do an amazing job to keep themselves stable with an aerodynamic flow profile. Because once you hit 100 kilometers an hour, upwards of 95 miles an hour, anything that you do, it's like sticking your hand out of the car. It creates immense amounts of wind drag. So the team has done an amazing job of that. You can't just throw people inside the sled. And then the third is essentially resources, equipment. So it's a Formula One type of race on ice. And when we talk about Formula One, the type of car you have, the type of wheels you have, really make a huge difference. So when you're taking a look at the US bobsled program, for example, they poured at least $8 million into their bobsled program to make it an elite bobsled program because their equipment is so top tier. The runners themselves, the type of steel, the quality of steel that you have all makes a difference. The bobsleds that you can buy on the open market range upwards of 120,000 euros for a 4-man sled, right? This is a very resource intensive sport. And that's what takes us to the final component of an elite bobsled program has money. And that is the one thing that you just cannot shoestring together. So when we say that the team has done the impossible, the team has gone probably the farthest in the sport with the least amount.
Unbelievable. Last technical question, and then I'll get into some more emotional stuff. Talking about the push, does that come down to, is that strength? Is that agility? Is it a combination? Is it like the bigger my quads are, the better the push is going to be? Like what's the determining factor of how excellent that start is?
When we talk about the push, you need to be very strong. We need to be also very fast to catch this sled, right? So you're running down the hill on ice. It's pretty fast. You're going 40 kilometers per hour after 30 or 40 meters. Those components of explosive power, strength, and speed is what's gathering up a good pusher. And then when they will be heavier and heavier, it's just, this is how it is. Just get better.
I'm sure you guys all watched the opening ceremony. There were some boos. How did that feel to watch? And did that get you guys concerned about what you might be facing?
I don't want to say we're used to it, but you know, there's a certain weight to being Israeli, like feel it on the shoulder, like. But that's also the magic of it. Like we try to block the noises, and we know we are the best, and we're trying to do our best. And haters will hate, you know.
No doubt.
Yeah, like if someone mad and like the crowd like doing a boost for us, like this is their problem. They mad, like. We are still happy, I have to say. I didn't know that there is a push on the crowd to...
Ward, you're not just representing Israel, but you're also representing your own community, the Druze community. First, a Druze Olympian representing from Israel. What does that mean to you? And what's the reaction been with everybody back home?
For me, it's a huge pride, a huge responsibility. Like, people are watching.
Do people think you're crazy when you told them you were going to be on a bobsled team?
Yeah, sometimes. It's like sitting in and watching my shoe.
AJ, you're not only the first multi-sport Israeli Olympian ever, but you're the only Orthodox Jewish Olympian ever from any country. What sort of responsibility do you feel with wearing that mantle?
I do want to correct slightly, Winter Olympian. Because there was a female judoka who competed in 2008. I think when I started out, like the entire purpose of the project was always a bobsled team. I never enjoyed skeleton. I didn't like the sport of skeleton. I didn't like doing any part of skeleton. But skeleton was always, every single day I woke up doing skeleton. It was with an eye towards doing the bobsled team. And I knew that if I made it through skeleton and did skeleton correctly, not only would it provide the base to drive the bobsled, but it would make finding a beautiful, wonderful team as we've found that much easier, and hopefully funding that much easier. I think as athletes, we've all realized that we had certain levels and expectations of what we wanted to achieve. And then we get to those expectations, levels and goals, and it's on to the next. So, for us, qualifying for the games was a big accomplishment, a huge one for the country, but I think we can all agree, like, we're aiming for a really good result in the format. We're really training hard for it, not just sitting on our butts here. So we always move on to the next. And yeah, I wanted to be the first, Orthodox man to, or modern Orthodox man to be in the games and to set some sort of precedent for the country. But I think when it comes down to it, all these sort of like titles are really meaningless. Like they're just, it's no one introduces themselves as like, hi, I'm XYZ. Double Olympian, like you're a jerk if you do that. So like all it means is just kind of breaking a sort of glass ceiling where, it encourages other people who are better than myself or better than us in the case of the bobsled team to come after and say like, that's been done. I'm pretty sure I'm better than that and I can do it myself.
Why is that so important to you? I know you've said for so long that like the goal was not the Olympics. The goal was paving the path for people to follow. Why is that so meaningful to you?
I mean, I grew up with major depressive disorder, or I have major depressive. Probably like it doesn't go away, right? So, um, there are certain outlets that provide, essentially the outlet for emotions and growth and all sorts of developmental capabilities that children have and that just adults and humans have in general. I think that the community itself, Jewish or Israeli community, and I think Ward mentioned this when he joined the team in 2020, the Jewish community, that other pursuits are prioritized over sport. And I did realize that growing up, if a Jewish kid asked their parent for piano lessons, the parent would go to the ends of the earth that they had the ability to get them piano lessons. There would never be a talk of, can you make money from this? Is there a future in this? But oftentimes, if a kid said, I want to become, let's say, like an Olympic level archer or curler or bobsledder, a parent might say, that costs a lot of money. Is there a future in that? What's the value of that? I think all of us are testaments to that. There is value in sport, not just for yourself, but for your community. And it's just sorely lacking. I think in Israel itself, the team is a huge example of once things are accomplished, once it's not just a crazy dream, there's immense value that people pull from this team, right? That they've seen what's been accomplished and they take a lot of pride in that. And that's what sport does. It's a universal language that bridges all sorts of barriers. It speaks to people. So sport is just it weighs very heavily on my list of priorities because I think we didn't have that.
I want to take that sort of to the rest of you fellas. I hear AJ's reason why he's been, the one piloting this sled, as it were. What does being a part of this mean to you all? Is this a job? Is it an experience? Is it a passion? Was it a cool opportunity? Like, why are you here?
I think everyone at the team doing sport is a passion. Like we are Israeli and athlete. Like we're not getting payments for doing sport. We all doing sport because we like it, and we all. I think I'm the last time on the team that guy doing sport, and like I'm doing it for 10 years. I'm doing track and field for 10 years. Like I'm working out every day. I'm giving 100% of myself. And I'm sure that each one of the guys over here doing even more than me. Itamar already have 2 Israeli records in weightlifting.
I think I'm the only one here in a weird way that was really approaching AJ, not got a message from him. Everyone else here come from track and field while he's doing rugby, so AJ just scouted at them. We just found them and sent them a message and they all agreed. And I'm coming from a different background, so I'm here to make my stage bigger. So I saw an opportunity. This year I was having I got some accomplishment that I was needed for myself to set the stone for my next one. And I won the Israeli Championship in CrossFit. I'm a CrossFit athlete. 2 weeks later, I did those national records that Menashem Chen, so I finished second in all ages weight class. And 2 days after, I saw AJ's recruiting message, and I was like, okay, this could be my path to touch others, to try to affect others. And my personal goal is to let kids like me. I said that I'm training only 6 years. I was having a different, maybe hard background. I started to smoke and drink in age 13, and it's getting worse and worse when I got older with a criminal background and some drugs. And I think as a testament of all of us that it's possible, I want to be a testament as myself that if a kid getting some bad behaviors, if he's walking in bad paths, no one believes in him, no one gives him the love he should get, he can just blow himself up and accomplish amazing things.
So I'm here to compete at the highest world rank competition to prove that hard work can take you anywhere. This is a dream of every athlete to go to the Olympics. And you can show me that after all this hard work, all these years of working, like it all comes to one point, which is the Olympics.
But there's no guarantee, right? There was no guarantee that you would make it here. You had to commit first.
Yeah, it's the hard work. And this is a reward for all the athletes to be in the Olympics. Even if you don't win, at least you made it to the Olympics.
No doubt.
I was a professional
pole vaulter that's in track and field. We all here are sportsmen. We sacrifice so much.
AJ, why bobsled? You said, you did skeleton. It's all about the bobsled, all about the bobsled. What is it about this sport that had your eye on it the whole time?
I was originally going to do speed skating, which had a terrific carryover from hockey. I got a great scouting report when I tried speed skating. But I saw bobsled represented on television. That they named Steve Holcomb. He was a legendary bobsledder for the U.S. They had named him the Sochi Olympic team, or essentially the World Cup team in October of 2013. And I thought at the time, that looked so visually stunning and out of the ordinary. I can only imagine the reaction in Israel if we actually did the thing. And so I went to a talent identification camp after getting in touch with the Israeli Federation. And they said, listen, you'll never get another 3 guys to hop in the back of a bobsled with you, and you'll never find the money to do it. Why don't you go try to do skeleton? So I went to try to do skeleton as the proof of concept for the bobsled team. And when I was given the scouting report that said that I was the least athletic person they had ever seen try it, and that I would never be competitive in it, I thought that this was a great story to tell kids in the future, that they could start out at a point no worse than I had. And I think all the people on the team would agree. As an athlete, I am the weakest athlete on this team.
Agree. But he is the most worked out on the team. Like, he worked so hard to bring us here. Like, 99% from the team, it's Adam. Like, Adam did almost everything, and we are the 1%.
It's not true. What he's saying is 100% not true. Bobsled is a pure team sport, and every single day these guys have made the dream come true for Israel. Like I only have to refute it because, like Menachem says, it's very nice to hear. But when Israelis see this team, they should realize that this is a team of 6 guys who put in every single drop of sweat over the last number of months to make this work. And there is no single person in a 4-man bobsled. If anything, I kind of hold them back. I push slower than they do, so I can't keep up with the sled. So
He's pushing backwards.
I'm pushing backwards. I truly mean it. The team is incredible. But to go back to what you asked about why bobsled, I dreamed every day about what the reaction might be in Israel should the team qualify, and I feel very vindicated in how it has been received in Israel. Because I don't think in the history of the country there has been such a reception to winter sport as has taken place in the last month since the qualification.
That's fantastic and so well deserved. I mean, if nothing else, AJ, you've modeled having a dream and then making it happen come hell or high water, and that's pretty spectacular. Hey fam, quick break from the convo to tell you all about a new project I am so excited to share with you. Because I have so much free time already, I'm now the editor-at-large of Aura Magazine, a brand new, glam, glossy print lifestyle magazine illuminating Jewish identity, culture, and beauty with elevation and elegance. Aura, which means light in Hebrew, fits right in line with everything this show is about, celebrating Jewish excellence. Our creativity, our diversity, our cultural contributions, our hotness. There is nothing like this for us in the Jewish world right now. And what's even better is you can hold it in your hands. It's real. It can live on your coffee table. It can start a conversation. Aura is about honoring who we are, a vibrant, modern people with extraordinary gifts and stories to tell. Featuring gorgeous photos, premium Jewish brands, and engaging articles across art, fashion, food, design, ideas. And of course, you'll always get at least one from me. So what are you waiting for? Snag your mag at auramag.co. That's ORAMAG.co. And for a limited time, you, beloved listener / viewer, can use my promo code Jonah10 for 10% off anything on the site. Because I love you. Aura Magazine. Be the light. And now, back to the show. What does it take to turn a bunch of individual athletes who are, aside from rugby, who are used to playing individual sports, to turn you into a team that has to be a well-oiled machine?
The first month was a tough one. And every time that something was really like going down pretty hard, the apologize came with, I'm so sorry, I'm used to being an individual. So Every time something happened, like I'm too hungry, I'll get the fuck out of here, or I'm too tired, or I don't know how to help here, or you just stand in the side and don't understand how to jump in the wall. I think the first month was, guys, we're just a bunch of individuals. Let's try to understand how to be a team. Like this for me is the first thing ever.
You guys were training in the Czech Republic before coming to Italy. Your apartment got robbed. That made the news headlines. That sucks, first of all. I'm sorry that happened. It's very violating, aside from, the loss of property and all that. How do you move on from that mentally and emotionally and not let that define, the start to this journey?
We are so used to shit getting like bad on us. Like we used for so many problems, like the sled is broken, no money, no this, the flight is canceled. Someone died on our flight and we got back. Like crazy shit always happens. We are so used to crazy shit happening, so another crazy shit that happens.
It is happening in a really intense 2 weeks.
AJ, as you were putting the team together or going on your search, how did October 7th change the trajectory of your mission?
That was crazy. So we had a team ready to go for the qualification. Ideally, you want a team no later than 2 years out. So the 23-24 season would provide us 2 years and then the qualification. We had some great athletes lined up for that team, and we were all supposed to meet on October 14th at Lake Placid. And I just finished buying this huge truck and a van to modify for the team, made big plans for that season. And then October 7th happened, and the team were all called to Milano, to reserve duty. Essentially, it radically altered the trajectory of everything to the point that the model of that year was that someone would fly in for a week, and they would be told to push the sled like a shopping cart. And they would be told to push it like a shopping cart, up in the back, and I'll drive you down the track, and we'll see what we can do with this. And it happened basically every week. We had 8 different athletes come in that season. Someone blew his meniscus while trying it for the first time. It was just a crazy season. But ultimately, we finished 3rd overall in the North American Cup that season, and the two-man doing it. So I think ultimately the difficulties made it much more easy to manage some of the problems that we've come across this year. Because after that, everything seemed quite simple. But I also would say that it just changed what I wanted the team to be. Because I wanted the team to stand as a symbol of excellence. Essentially, the team was decimated, right? And it would have to be put together. I think the war made it such that when the team was put together, the ceasefire had not yet taken effect. So we had to put together multiple contingency plans in case people were called back to be leave, so that it would not happen in the same way as it happened in October of 2023. So everything was changed about the team, but ultimately, just like everything else in Israel, it kind of just pushes you forward to something bigger and better.
Amazing. Warren, I have a question for you. The nickname for the team is Shul Runnings, which, we all get a nice kick out of. You're representing Israel on the highest level, but you don't go to Shul. You're Druze. If the national anthem talks about Nefesh Yehudi, not Nefesh Druzi, do you think about that stuff at all? And if you do, how do you think about it? Or, how does that hit you?
For me, I think they're all my brothers, so emotionally it doesn't affect me, so we're all humans in the end, so I don't care what backgrounds are they or what mine even. I want to do my best all the time.
If you just heard that sound, that means we just finished recording 5 deep questions. Although this week it was actually 6 deep questions because we've got 6 Israeli Bobsled Team members. If you want to catch the deep dive, you need to be a member of our subscriber-only community, the Kehillah, which you can join at beingjewishpodcast.com/community. This was a really fun conversation. You won't want to miss it. Coming up, as I mentioned, in a couple days, the 4-man event, which you guys have worked so hard, which you've been waiting for. How will you spend the time between this interview and when you take the track for the first time?
Bobsled is a very unique sport in that you spend a very minimal amount of time doing the sport itself, and you spend a massive amount of time doing everything that gets you those 55 seconds on the ice. So sled work, polishing runners, like it's a very complex machine. We polish the runners to make them a mirror polish so that there's no imperfections that'll grab the ice. The boys are in the gym all the time. Like it probably like for the 2 runs a day that we get our 55 seconds, that's less than 2 minutes. But we spend at least, I'd say 6, 7, or 8, 8 hours on the sport. The boys jumped into a sport that probably, I don't think you guys had to do 8 hours a day. Like they adapted to this so insanely quickly. The team's journey is unheard of in our sport, right? Where you have people who have been thrown in on short notice, like Lolo Jones in 2014 made the Olympics for the United States. She was a hurdler. But in those programs, you have coaches and mechanics and physios, people doing your scheduling. This team, everyone did it all themselves, right? And that's what adds to make it an 8-hour day, not a 2-hour day. And it's a monster credit to the team, because how can you be such an elite, high-level athlete as all these guys are, but spend all of your time doing the things that you should have a support system for? And the reason I fired the shot is because we don't get any of that support, yet we're expected to operate with that certain level of elite performance. And we do. God bless the boys, they do. But yeah, look at this team. Unbelievable.
Do you think this will be a watershed moment for the Israeli bobsled program going forward, based on what you all have learned and what the committee's learned from what you guys have been doing?
I want to believe yes. We got connected to this sport, and I want to believe that now, after we've made a team, regular day-to-day athletes in Israel say, maybe I want to do this. That looks insanely good, and I want to try it. So it never happened in Israel. None of us knew what is bobsled when we talked with Adrian. He's like, you want to go to the bobsled team? What is a bobsled thing? Let me check in with you when I come back. So yeah, I want to believe it's a huge impact already.
What are your expectations? Like, what are you aiming for, and where you're trying to place? What do you reasonably think you guys can achieve?
The top 20 in our sport is considered the gold standard. It allows you to go through the 4th and final run. It's 2 heats on 2 days. So run 1 and 2 is taking place on Shabbat, and runs 3 and 4 are taking place on Sunday. The boys have better athletic ability than myself in particular. So in the 2-man competition, my start deficiency plays a larger role in the competitive landscape and makeup of where we land in those results. In the 4-man, I contribute, let's say, 20% or less of the push. And so their greater athletic ability can close that push gap, push gaps are severe and difficult to overdrive. We do want to make the top 20 in the 4-man. 4-man is our specialty. It's the big boy of bobsled. It's considered the 100 meters of the Winter Games. But I also think that one of the greatest things about 4-man is it's a harder version of the sport. So when the team is better at the harder version of the sport, it's something to just be proud of, to say that we were highly competitive in that competition. So that's the goal. I'd say put down the 3 to 4 greatest runs that we could possibly put down, represent Israel as best as we can. And then everyone back home goes, holy shit, an Israeli 4-man team, the first new 4-man team in the games without a bid in 30 plus years, just threw down a spectacular run with, nothing behind them, just grit and a belief system, camaraderie and brotherhood.
Beautiful. Who wouldn't want to tune in for that? The Olympics are over in a few days. By the time this airs, they'll be long over. What's next for each of you? Where will you be when this airs in a couple weeks? Will you be laying down in a hot tub, icing your muscles for a month?
I think our dream as a team is keep the program running. Itamar and Omer, they're going to driving school, and we're going to keep practicing hard and work hard to be the best pusher that we can. Hopefully they will like to be pilots and keep doing it. And we're waiting for the next season.
So right back to work.
I'm going to the driving school, see if I like it. I'm pretty sure I will like it. Then, funding aspect of the sport comes to play. If I don't continue doing bobsled, I'll go back to my studies.
For me, I have a business I opened last year for functional training and training, like a gym studio.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go back to work. And of course, I'm going to keep training and pushing hard for maybe not the next season, the one after.
AJ, what about you?
I need a job. That's basically it.
Probably could be our team manager.
Truly, I think that these are spectacular athletes, and if either of them or both of them become pilots, like just I want the program to continue to last. I'll be around to coach and help them out. But ultimately, I think it's going to be a dual role. One is I'm going to work really hard to find them money, because no one should have to go through this. Like, I think that that the sport infrastructure in Israel is just so incredibly unfair to athletes. But no athletes should be faced with a mountain of debt to do this. If anyone out there is listening, Omer and Itamar are spectacular athletes, and we want to continue this program. And I really think that we can continue this program, bring in a female competitor to make the Olympic Games, not just make the Olympic Games, but in monobobs to the single person sport, medal in 4 years, because that's actually possible in that single person version of the sport. Let's build something together. Like, get in touch. Let's put these guys on the map. It's much easier to make the Olympics as 2 teams than 1 team in bobsled, because 20 of 28 spots are then open to you rather than 8. And so, like, let's build something on this. That's probably my number one priority, is get them the support that they need.
Is there an infrastructure in place to take in support if people want to give it?
We have a nonprofit. So we have a nonprofit. It's Advancing Jewish Athletics. Jared at Firestone and I started it. I started it basically. Ward and I and his cousins were in the boondocks of Pyeongchang, South Korea, back in 2020. And I was lying on the floor of the place that I was with Lulu. I couldn't afford a place with warm water or heating. And so Lulu and I were just like, and it was an Asian style setup, so there was no mattress either. So Lulu and I was just shivering on the floor. And I thought, you know what? We probably need a nonprofit if people want to give us some money so we can afford some heating. So I set up a nonprofit that day. So the nonprofit exists to this day. It's called Advancing Jewish Athletics. If anyone wants to donate, just get in touch. IsraelBobsled.com/donate has the information to get in touch, and just say, like, hey, I want to support Itamar. I want to support Omer. Like, let's get this thing going.
All right, folks, you heard him. Let's get this thing going. What does success at the Olympic Games in 2026 look like to you all? Have you already achieved it, or is there something you're holding out for?
For me, it's not your result, it's your effort. Success was if we was qualified to the Olympics, and if we was not qualified to the Olympics, it's if we get a gold medal or if we finish less. We put in our best effort, and like, we're doing our best. And at the moment that we know that, then we can be satisfied with ourselves and know that we have success.
We are showing up. We are ambassadors of our country. We are the first Israelis for a lot of athletes to meet it the first time. That's insane by itself, just having fun and laugh with other people and let them know that the Israeli spirit is a good one.
You might not come in first, but you're the first to ever do it, and nobody can take that away from you, that's for sure. And now, before we get to our wrap-up of the episode, I'd like to do a deep dive with the pilot himself, the man who not only drives the bobsled on the track, but who has driven this entire program from nothing into Olympic-level performance, Mr. AJ Edelman. AJ, how different does it look for other Israeli sports in terms of the support?
No team has ever operated like this. It's just impossible to achieve. But that's what makes the boys so special, is they have helped carry the team. They have helped with things. But it just doesn't work that way in other sports. And when it comes to the organizational side, or at least like interacting with the powers that be, that decide if you're going to go, we don't have someone. We just do not have someone. Like, the decision not to send us to the 2 critical days of training before the Olympics that essentially sacrificed the 2-man race. I mean, as an athlete, I will just never forget it, right? Like, as an athlete, you're going to the Olympics, and these boys deserved a race. They deserved an equal playing field, as equal as it could be, to compete on that race. And without any knowledge of what the sport was or how it operates at all, the decision was made, you're not going to those trainings. Like, no one called us, no one asked us, there's no understanding of the sport. So it's, it's very different, because for other sports, there would have, I think, at least been the respect to go say, like, hey, why do you say you need this, right? What is so important about it?
How much of that can you attribute to the fact that, as you said, Israelis don't know this sport? I mean, this is brand new. You've just built this out of nothing. So, maybe you're saying it's none or maybe it's all, but how much of this is just due to the fact that this is brand new, it's unproven, and they have no frame of reference to it and no infrastructure around it?
There's an interesting symbiotic relationship that athletes have with federations, national Olympic committees, international federations, meaning like FIFA in the case of soccer, where you're pulling your own weight and you're trying to accomplish your own goals. And then these federations and Olympic committees, they're supposed to support you. Ideally, they should exist purely as your support, right? Your inclusion should not be a gift to you. Your inclusion should be a gift to them. And so when it comes down to an understanding of the sport, I feel, and I do apologize if it seems, ungracious to an Olympic committee that changed its rules, so to speak, to take the team. But there should never be a question in the first place. If there is someone who is doing all of this without asking for anything in return, as these boys never asked for a single thing in return, they never asked for funding, they never asked for anything other than the opportunity to compete on an even playing field, that there should at least be some sort of level of which that you call them up and you say like, hey, I want to understand what this is. I want to understand how we make these decisions. And, I think it's just the unfortunate reality that we could say, yeah, it's not understood, but it should be understood. And it shouldn't fall to the middle of the Olympic Games to understand why it's critical that you're not 45 runs down on other people in a competition that is almost entirely based on experience on the track.
That's tough. I don't know what you feel comfortable talking about or not, so I don't want to, push, but is there any light you want to shed on sort of how this experience and this partnership has been beyond what you've already just divulged?
The boys woke up one day in October as they arrived in Whistler and read from the Olympic Committee put out in the press that the bobsled team stood almost no chance of qualification, when it was the exact opposite. We expected qualification. We are a good team in terms of the driving ability. It's one of the only things I'll ever be super proud of in life. I'm probably a top 10 in the world's capable driver, right? When it comes to the pushing aspect of things, like the only reason I'm able to overcome such a severe athletic push deficit is because I spent 12 hours a day watching YouTube videos in the first 4 years. I self-directed everything. It's been an immense lift to become one of the best drivers in the world. And so to read right off the bat, no chance of qualification when the opposite is true. And they had to deal with that every day. Like in Segoldo, when we crashed literally 10 minutes after reading an incredibly inappropriate statement about the team in the press. Right? And it was playing on my mind as I went to the line. I was thinking at the line, like, I've told the boys every time I've crashed in my career, I was distracted at the line, right? And I went to the line in the World Cup thinking, like, I really hope I'm not distracted right now. I think the only reason I would shed light on anything is the team's accomplishment this year was not just athletic. It was through their willpower. It was through their ability to move forward, because for the longest time they were reading in the news that even if they qualified, they wouldn't be taken. And so as a unit, as a team, they decided to still push on and do the job and fight to the very last day to change the decision of not taking the team should we qualify. So, I think it's just an immense credit to them. Like, they're upbeat, they're positive. I'm a more pessimistic person because it's been 12 years of this immense lift, but I'm also a little bit more like, jaded or whatever it might be, because these boys did just such a superhuman effort, and to live with them, to see their heart poured into it, they deserve everything. It should never have been a question of whether they went or not.
How do you explain what, on the surface seems like a pretty puzzling call? Like, as a lay person, I'm not involved in Olympic sports at all, but you would think, oh, more teams qualifying for our little country is a good thing. How do you explain an aversion before you've even run a race to, we're not going to be bringing this team?
I mean, I think it's one of the things that we want to change, right? There's a mentality that surrounds sport that the ends are the goals themselves, that the ends, when we say justify the means are unjustified without the ends being accomplished. Finals, medals, whatever that may be, it doesn't make sense. There was a survey a number of years ago, I forgot who did the survey, but about 95% of the kids who aspired to go to the Olympic Games because they saw someone they admired competing in the Olympic Games. They saw it on television. And so the team being here, what is that going to do going forward? Like, the explosion of support has been enormous. It is the highest return on investment potentially in Israeli sport history. For almost literally zero investment from the state, an immense return. And I think of just sport in that general overall landscape. Right? It is puzzling to say, why wouldn't you take a team that is comprised of beautiful Israelis, a Druze guy who's going to make a significant contribution in this community? I don't know. But I do know that I think the mentality might shift, or I hope it might shift, because we do know that there are some people who do believe that at the end of the day, representation truly does matter. Right? The Olympic Games are a showcase of the spirit and the accomplishments of the country. And when you hit an Olympic standard, particularly in a sport that is so restrictive, right? Like 30 plus years, not a single new country in the bobsled quota system didn't get an Olympics themselves. Like, it's crazy to think that Israel accomplished that.
Do you feel there's anything riding on how you finish in the event in terms of what support may be waiting for you on the other side?
Unfortunately, I do think so. I think that the team was taken because of the world rank being inside 20 in terms of its Olympic ranking, that the team is a realistic shot to grab an Olympic finals appearance. If the team doesn't finish at that high enough rank, I do fear that much of the progress that was made from the people who can make the decisions to bring a future team will have been rubbed off. However, it's tough to say truly, because I think that every single time the team has accomplished its goals, the public support has been just phenomenal. It really has been enormous. There has to be a recognition that being the first in 3 decades is just that has got to be worth more than making the top 20, right? That itself has to be something that as a country, as a sport administrator, as someone who runs the thing, that you take pride in, that you're able to say, we did that, as opposed to, see, non-competitive. Non-competitive, even if you're last, you're the worst of the best of the best of the best.
I know it's hard to think about now, as you're still days away from competing in these Olympics. Do you have another Olympics in you, whether as an athlete or as a driver of the bobsled program?
I do see my role as more of a mentor at this point. I think that these boys are younger than me, faster than me. They have the capacity to be more talented than me. And so what a coach provides is what I never had. Right? It took a long time to get to this point because I had no coach, because I had no one shortcutting the process. The coach is able to allow you to get to your potential, and their potential is much greater than mine. And I want to see them hit that potential, because that's the joy of an athlete, and I think it's the joy of a Jew. Right? The joy of a Jew is that your candle, right? It's like Moshe Rabbeinu, like Moses. Your candle can light many different fires. Right? You're your own fire, but if you keep that as your own fire, light doesn't spread. And the joy of a Jew, the joy of just being a Yid, is being able to have many Jews light their own fires. And I have a flame. And I'm really, really glad to be able to spread that flame, because in some sense as well, it will keep the program alive. I think it's somewhat a little selfish if I don't take that opportunity to say, hey, Omer, Itamar, whoever wants to come in, let's do something truly special. Let's have not 5 guys, 6 guys here. Let's have 12 guys here in 4 years, and 2 women here, and everything that can come from that. So Do I have another cycle in me? I have another 2 to 3 physically. But, there's a lot of factors at play that I want this to grow because, you saw these guys, like, they're just the most wonderful examples of Israelis, Jews, and Druze that you can find, and they deserve every shot in the world. I'm going to work to give it to them.
You've already done the 0 to Olympians, and now you've got that foundation, and you've got the attention of people. There's certainly the awareness is tenfold higher than it was before. Shouldn't it be easier now to achieve, whatever you want to achieve with this?
I can say with 100% confidence, if the money was provided, Israel would be in the games every single Olympics from now on. With the infrastructure that's set up, with the coaching that I could provide, with the sleds that we have, if the money was there, Israel would be in the Olympics every single game. It wouldn't drop out. But it took over $250,000 to do this season. So, am I going to be able to raise that for the guys? I don't know. And Omer and Itamar are out of the military. They don't have these sorts of savings to do that. And, the rest of Menachem's in university. So after the season started, I did not know whether I would be able to get the boys on the ice for the first race. We had run completely out of money. And, or I had run completely out of money. And I didn't want to borrow more, and I didn't want to tap my parents. I think it's so unfair to do that. We were just struggling, and I threw up a reel of us training in the format, and I said, we're the only team that has no sponsor stickers on their sled, because I lost all of my sponsors after October 7th. They didn't want to be involved with what was considered a political thing. And obviously I'm very vocal online, or was very vocal online, about my support of Israel and the war in Gaza. And so this very blessed individual saw it. The reel went viral because it got viewed like 400,000 times, with 95% of the comments being like the genocide Bobsled Team. It was like that sort of stuff. And he saw it, and he got in touch, and he cut a check to cover the season. Right? It was that sort of, all you need is one yes. And I tell my boys this all the time. It's like, you're going to discover guys in your life that you might have a crazy dream or a crazy goal, but you just need to find the one yes. And everything is going to be no until you find the one yes. But there is a yes out there. If you believe in yourself and you believe in that goal and you work hard towards it, someone's going to recognize it. So ultimately, the individual gave not because of my appeal. He gave because he saw the boys pushing a bobsled, right? He saw their efforts, and I'll always take that. I failed on my own. I succeeded when the boys joined. And I think that's a major credit. I'll always give them the credit, because like, they deserve it. They worked really hard for it. But the team was able to get on the ice because a guy saw them pushing.
Now you're going to have a whole lot more footage than just one reel. And all the people who gave you the maybes, not likelies, you can call them all right back and say, hey, did you see us on TV?
The greatest thing about representing your country is that not a single person will remember your name in 5 seconds, right? But they'll remember the team. It's just something that I've always wanted, right? I really always wanted to say that, like, my time on earth was well spent, because at the end of the day, I could take a look back and I could say, like, I was a part of that, and not think that accomplishment was an accomplishment because someone else took something from that, built their own thing. And I really do think that, there's a lot of pictures out there now. Menachem is kissing my head. I hate being touched. But I think at that moment, I did realize that there was a value in just letting the emotions of the moment take over, because someone, like, it should be something that someone sees, like 2 proud kids accomplishing what they needed and wanted to accomplish.
Amazing. Well, AJ, I wish you guys the best of luck. I feel optimistic about what you can achieve, not just this weekend, but in the weeks and months and years to come, and look forward to watching the journey.
Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it, Jonah.
All right, guys, I want to finish off, as I like to do, with a game. This one I'm calling Beyachad. To those of you who don't speak Hebrew, it means together. I'm going to throw out a question about somebody on the team who snores the loudest, and you can all say who you think the answer is. All right. Who gets the most nervous before a race?
No.
It's not nerves, it's focus. There's a difference.
Yeah. No, actually, it's fine.
Yeah. Who gets nervous? Does anyone get nervous? Omer gets nervous.
Omer. Okay. Who complains the most about how they look in the suit?
Oh, wow.
Wow, I'm putting well.
Everybody's pointing a word on that one.
Of course, not me. Organized leg, putting galons, like it's
When Ward says he's staying an hour after competition to meet people to give a good impression of Jews, it's a very specific subset of people he's looking to meet.
Who's most likely to say one more run when everyone else is freezing?
Wow.
This guy.
I'd be pleased to get about 20 runs a day if possible.
It's not freezing. It's not. It's way out.
We crashed twice, and he wanted to go the third one. Like twice in a row, and he wanted to go another one.
Who thinks they're the funniest?
Nothing.
not
I don't think that I'm funny. I don't want to be the funniest guy. I want to be the team leader.
Who is actually the funniest?
Omer is fine.
Omar is pretty funny guy, yes.
That quiet dude in the back?
Yes.
Yeah, over there.
Who blames the sled when something goes wrong?
AJ.
AJ, please.
AJ.
I never blame the brake.
AJ, always.
Oh, we crashed. Stuck. Get stuck. Not again.
In the start, he said that he's running backwards. Every time he pushed slow in whistle, I was like, why the fuck don't you guys don't push?
I would never said that.
Oh, wow. He was doing some video review with me. He's like, this is not good. Then the coach said, Itamar, not listening to
Who eats the weirdest pre-race meal?
That's must to be this guy.
Every meal is weird.
He just
What does he eat?
shoving, no matter what food it is, Parmesan and ketchup.
He taking 5 pizzas on the cafeteria and eating only the cheese.
That's like my 2-year-old. Who says yalla the most?
We say, are you ready for tomorrow?
All of us.
No, we don't say that. You say
you
that.
say that. No, yeah, said
All the time.
Yeah.
Kadim.
Who's most likely to get into it with a track official?
I want to say what? I want.
Shofet.
I'm pretty nice to them guys. I don't know what. None of us.
Yeah, like we are nice guys.
We are good boys.
Yeah.
Last one. When you cross the line in the last heat, who bursts into tears? I had a feeling. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for the time. We are all rooting for you here. I know by the time this airs, you will have already finished, but in this moment, you're inspiring so many, and you will continue to do so. And I just wish you the best of luck, behatzlacha, all the things. I don't think you say break a leg in bobsled. I feel like that'd be weird, but get it done. We're rooting for you, and all the best. Thank you. Hey guys, still me. And for the first time, I'm sticking around for an epilogue. As you already know, today's episode was filmed several days prior to the 4-man bobsled event at the Milano Crotina 2026 Winter Olympics. What you may or may not know is what happened next. After racing in the first 2 of the event's 4 total runs, the Israeli team withdrew itself from competition before the 3rd run. Despite hitting the 9th highest top speed of the 2nd run, the team finished out of the top 20, essentially sealing their fate for the remainder of the event. And with their chance at medaling out of reach, for run number 3, the team planned to swap in alternate crew member Ward Fawarsy, Israel's first Druze Olympian, in order to give him the honor and pride of running an Olympic race. Swapping in alternates when victory is out of reach is fairly common practice in the sport. Romania, who finished in 17th, did this very thing, swapping in alternate Andrei Nica when a low finish was all but guaranteed. Due to circumstances beyond the team's control, the Israeli Olympic Committee was made aware of the planned swap. Contrary to certain stories in the press, there was no signed affidavit, no attempt to lie or cheat, and no official disqualification. Just a desire to help a teammate realize a dream, and when that proved unattainable, a voluntary withdrawal by the team itself. Not the grand result the team was hoping for, to be sure, but as you've doubtless already discovered, for this group of 6 Israeli men looking to make their mark, it was never about the gold. It was always about the blue and white. An enormous thank you to the entire Israeli Bobsled team for staying up and talking to me in the midst of their training. Inspiring stuff. Amazing story. If you love this episode, please do me a favor, leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on, or the one you use the most if you're watching this. It helps more people find the show. It helps us grow this wild and wonderful Jewish conversation we're having here, and we would really appreciate it. All right, I'll see you all right back here for the next high-speed episode of Being Jewish with me, Jonah Platt.